Our journalists will be there, bringing the world into focus.
Staying on the Russia investigation and a new report from Time magazine. The headline reads this: a lawyer changed the course of the Watergate investigation. Michael Cohen could play a parallel role. It retraces the role of John Dean, who was counsel to President Nixon in the Watergate probe, and draws parallels between what took place then and what's unfolding now, with President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen tangled up in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Joining me now is David Kaiser, a historian and the author of that article. He also writes for historyunfolding.com, and he wrote the book The Road to Dallas, The Assassination of John F. Kennedy. David, lay out the parallels for you that you made in your article for us between John Dean and Michael Cohen.
Certainly, Richard. In both cases, we have a lawyer for the president. John Dean was a lawyer for Richard Nixon in his official capacity as counsel to the president. Michael Cohen was a personal lawyer for Donald Trump. In both cases, they came to the attention of the Justice Department, Dean because of the role he had played in really orchestrating the Watergate cover-up, as he subsequently admitted. Michael Cohen, for reasons that aren't completely clear, but we do know that the FBI raided his office. Now, the key point is that both these men apparently got legal advice of their own and decided that it would now be in their interest to cooperate with the prosecutors. Dean, as it turns out, had a lot of critical information about the cover-up and about the president's role in the cover-up, including conversations he had had with the president about that, and that was eventually confirmed by tapes. We don't know exactly what Michael Cohen has, but there is some reason to believe, actually, that he might have a lot of information about dealings with Russia. And apparently, his attorney has stated that Michael Cohen does know that President Trump did know about the famous June 9th, 2016 meeting in Trump Tower in advance, which would be a significant fact. Now, it's interesting comparing the two situations, which differ in many ways. We learned about Watergate because the Democrats controlled Congress. They set up the Senate Select Committee under the great Sam Ervin, who we certainly could use right now. And all through the summer of 1973, they called witnesses, including Dean, and the country got intimately acquainted with the story and with all the major players. Since the Republicans control Congress at this point and have been 99% loyal to Donald Trump, we haven't had anything like that. But the facts of these two conspiracies, one potential conspiracy, are coming out in the same way. And it's interesting that both start in exactly the same way, with a break-in at the Democratic National Committee.
You know, I want to bring in here a bit of sound here from a journalist that you've heard of before called Bernstein, known for helping uncover the Watergate scandal. Yeah, just a little bit, right? And let's listen to what he has to say first about the Trump presidency and what we've seen so far, then I'll get your reaction.
Okay.
I think it's time to recognize that what we are watching in the Trump presidency is worse than Watergate. It's worse than Watergate, as I say, because the system worked in Watergate. The heroes of Watergate were Republicans who demanded that the president be held accountable, who demanded that he be transparent, who demanded to know what did the president know and when did he know it, and who conducted bipartisan investigation that led, in fact, to understanding and finding out what Nixon had done.
Quickly here, David, 15 seconds. Do you share that view?
I do share that view, and even if the Democrats get the House back so that they could, in certain circumstances, vote a resolution of impeachment, they won't have a two-thirds majority in the Senate, so it's hard to see how this president could be forced out of office at this time.
All right, David Kaiser, historian, thank you, sir, for your time, and have a good Sunday.
Thank you, Richard. I enjoyed it.
You betcha. In our next hour, the Trump tweet that's touched off quite a firestorm.